Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, the embargoes have lifted and people are sharing their reviews of She-Hulk. And without further ado, let's get into the story. Now, I gotta say, I have not been impressed with She-Hulk based on the trailers and the teasers that I've seen. Most of these scenes have really fallen flat for me. The comedy hasn't worked for me. The fourth wall breaks, which I'll be honest, I was never into She-Hulk, the comic, so I wasn't aware that she was a fourth wall breaker. And she was actually a fourth wall breaker pre-Deadpool, so She-Hulk came out prior to Deadpool. But whereas Deadpool, the fourth wall breaks, they absolutely looked hilarious, even in the teasers and trailers. I mean, when I watched the teasers and trailers for this, I don't really feel much. So it's okay. Maybe this show just isn't for me, right? And I'm not telling you to watch this show or don't watch this show. I'm just sharing information about the show and my opinion about the show, which I don't really know anything about except from the teasers and trailers. But let's get into some of the reviews that we're seeing already. So first up, let's start off with Rotten Tomatoes, where everybody goes first, right? We've got all these user scores and we've got all these critic scores, and yet when you go to the score details, you're not seeing much, okay? So when I click on the 92%, and I want to see all the critics, I don't get anything. I got 2 reviews. One of them is a rotten, and it says, a messy meta legal sitcom with humor that mostly misses the mark. The other one is She-Hulk Attorney at Law launches the MCU into unfettered sitcom shenanigans with mixed results, and that one's considered fresh. Humorous supporting characters and a charming lead performance saves the silliness. That's not exactly, I don't know, that it doesn't exactly get, to me, both of those don't sound like good reviews. They sound like reviews of something that's maybe just okay. Of course, I don't think we can see any of the actual audience score reviews. Oh, we can. So here's one. My husband put it on to watch, but I felt like crawling under the sofa with embarrassment. I'm all for a strong woman production, but the comedy in this sucks. My husband was laughing his head off for all the wrong reasons. Why did Disney do this to us? Where to start? The lead character is unlikable, self-entitled, and an a-hole. Central themes are girls rule, boys rule, as encapsulated by Jen telling Bruce, someone who is trying to ensure she has the tools to handle things. I don't need you and I am better than you. Wow. Okay, so Bruce is her cousin who is actually trying to help her, and she's being a total dickbag. If Marvel would just abandon the alienating theme of girls rule, boys rule, things would be fine. They seem unable or unwilling to let their characters shine without first crapping all over those that came before. I am better than you. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is something that I've talked about too. This is this whole tearing down of characters instead of just building up a character. And oftentimes, if you have a weak character, or you have not a weak character, but weak writing, I think She-Hulk is actually a very strong character. She has a very strong story, and it could be a compelling story. The problem is that you actually have to put the effort in to build that character up. You have to understand the hero's journey. You have to take them through the hero's journey. And what a lot of the modern writers do, instead of taking their hero through the hero's journey, they take their hero through the first few steps of the hero's journey. And then instead of actually taking them through trials and having them develop and showing their growth, they stop there. They skip to the end, give them the boon, which is like their goal, get them straight to their goal, and then you have no hero arc. You have no hero's journey. And that's what happens, which I could tell this was probably going to happen just from the teaser trailers, because they showed She-Hulk being better right off the bat at everything compared to Bruce Banner's Hulk, which makes no sense because he's been the Hulk longer. Now, yoga, I guess I could say, okay, maybe she was doing yoga beforehand and Bruce was not. Maybe she's been doing yoga for years. That might explain it. If she just simply said, oh, I've been doing yoga for years, and did her thing, that would change the tone of that scene entirely. And then it wouldn't come off as being her being a total bitch. It would come off as, her saying, yeah, like I do this. This is useful. And he's like, yeah, it's going to be hella useful for you. And then she could be like, tell me more. right? Then that's a character growth instead of her just being a bitch, right? Don't want to get stuck too much on the Rotten Tomatoes, but look, it looks like there's a lot of negative scores here. I'll leave you to go through them, laugh at them, and oh my god, it's a politically correct man-hating show. Okay. Oh my God. Seriously, the standards for a decent TV show drop so sharply. Some of you think this is a good show. Oh my God. Okay. Go through, read the reviews. They look like they're quite funny, and that might be your entertainment. If you don't want to watch She-Hulk, instead you could just read the Rotten Tomatoes user reviews. So what are some of the other reviews out here? Well, I'm just going to go through the ones that sort of popped up at the first Google, right? I like this. There are so many Marvel characters that fit right into the sitcom mold that it's frankly pretty surprising that She-Hulk Attorney at Law is the first time we're seeing the format tackled by the media giant. That's kind of encouraging. I like that intro. Waiting worked out in their favor. Jennifer Walters' plucky fourth wall breaks and extremely relatable fish out of water antics as she navigates her newfound powers are a perfect fit for the shorter, funnier style of episode. I mean, a fish out of water is suitable for comedy, yes. Plucky fourth wall breaks. Again, the fourth wall break that I've seen in the trailer just fell flat. Now, that's maybe because we didn't have enough context, but it just didn't hit for me. And I thought that was weird because, again, I had seen the Deadpool trailers, and the fourth wall breaks in the Deadpool trailers were freaking hilarious. Then they go on, as expected. The premiere gives us a crash course on how Jen became She-Hulk. More than anything, it's all about establishing her relationship with her cousin Bruce. We've also heard just from some of those user reviews that she kind of treats him like shit, though, so that's not something that I want to watch. She-Hulk Attorney at Law, the MCU takes on the sitcom. The half-hour comedy starring Tatiana Maslany wants to be more Fleabag than Falcon and Winter Soldier. Sometimes it works. Again, that's not exactly a ringing endorsement. She-Hulk Attorney at Law, this is from Giant Freaking Robot, series premiere review, a solid start, just shy of smashing. So that's encouraging. Now She-Hulk purports to bring straight-up comedy to the MCU, and for the most part, it succeeds. The show delivers on the action, drama, and the laughs. Ironically, so far, it's in the laughs department where the show is weakest. That's what I was saying. Like, it did not look funny to me. She-Hulk Attorney at Law is Marvel's trash at its most offensive. There may have been potential to do something campy and fun with Tatiana Maslany's lawyer-turned-Hulk, but this cringeworthy series is a Hulk smash on the skip button. Daily Beast did not like this. So, She-Hulk is getting review bombed harder than Miss Marvel, blah, blah. Look, they call it review bombing, but those reviews that came in that we just saw on Rotten Tomatoes, it was 1 hour ago. Those are all 1 hour old, meaning people have had all freaking morning. It's noon now. People have had almost 12 hours to start watching this. Technically, they probably could have watched the entire season by now if they binged it all, if it's all out. She-Hulk Attorney at Law review, Disney Plus new Marvel series leans into silliness for better and worse. So that's a mixed review there. Then don't get me wrong, She-Hulk is exactly the sort of silly show you should be expecting from a series called She-Hulk Attorney at Law. It's broad, bright, and eager to serve the audience with a wink and a nudge. It's loose to the point of near formlessness. I don't know about that. That's good. Boasting a clear theme, all right, and a savvy feministry. Like, most of this super femme power stuff is like kind of things that I've gotten burned out on over the last few years, simply because they've been so heavy-handed with it, so over the top with it, showing women as instantly good at everything, never having to develop any at all, and just having, everything basically handed to them. I mean, how is that feminist? How is that empowerment? That's fucking lying to people. That's what that is. That's fucking lying to women, telling them, hey, you can be good at anything you want. You don't have to work for shit. I think that's a harmful message to send. She-Hulk Attorney at Law review, verdict is a laugh out loud TKO for Tatiana Maslany's Marvel comedy. Okay, that's from Deadline. As the title suggests, subversive delight. Okay, don't use that word, all right? Just please don't, all right? Again, most of the subversive shit that they've been doing is been ruining TV shows and movies with their subversive stuff, with their identity politics, with their race swapping, with their gender swapping, and with this heavy-handed messaging. And then, oh yeah, we're going to try and fit an actual story in here somewhere in between all our fucking lectures. She-Hulk Attorney at Law gives Tatiana Maslany a deserving yet dated comedic showcase. Okay, that again is that's kind of mixed then for me when I read that. No one is more annoyed by the derivative moniker of She-Hulk than Jennifer Walters. Stark departure from her brooding cousin Bruce. The lawyer turned reluctant superhero approaches her life with a winsome grin and a let's get this over with sigh. Public decides to call her She-Hulk as if she's nothing more than the lady half a brute. Whatever. She's a Hulk. She is a She-Hulk. You know, like, I get she may not like that, but that's what she is. She is the other half of the coin to Bruce. So it's definitely an insult, but not one that Jen, a lawyer practicing the art of grinning and bearing constant frustration, can brush off, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that right there is kind of just off territory for me, because she is She-Hulk. I mean, what's your fucking problem with that? What's her problem with that? She-Hulk Attorney at Law review. Female empowerment has never been, again, female empowerment has never been so much fun. And the way that they're showing female empowerment is women are just good at shit. That's not empowerment, all right? That's not a positive message for women. A positive message is showing women having to struggle with things that they really have to struggle with and achieving something and, you know, learning to deal with stuff. And that would be a great story around She-Hulk, especially about having to learn about how to use her powers properly. Imagine her like just constantly having to deal with stuff that none of us have to deal with, like opening a door and tearing it off the fucking hinges. And that would be funny. That's a fish out of water, getting used to your powers type of thing. Trying to throw a rock and instead of throwing it, accidentally just pulverizing it right there because she's so strong that she can't throw it. And Bruce having to teach her, no, here's how you throw things when you're a Hulk, right? And that would be a better moment than this dick moment that they gave where she's just better at throwing rocks. I mean, this stupid shit like that. All right, She-Hulk review. Marvel's fun lawyer show doesn't go big enough. The series gets off to a scattered start, but boasts comedic potential and a winsome cast. They like this word winsome. This is a little sus. When I see the word winsome twice in two different reviews, attractive or appealing in appearance or character. Winsome, appealing, engaging, charming, winning, attractive, pretty, sweet, cute, endearing, darling, dear, lovable, adorable, lovely. There are a lot of synonyms for this word, and winsome is pretty uncommon. I'll just leave it at that. She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Episode 1 review, a normal amount of rage. Marvel Studios navigates the tricky landscape of a half-hour live-action comedy series featuring CGI characters in She-Hulk Attorney at Law with mixed results. Okay, mixed result. Again, that's what I've been seeing. Maslany herself radiates as the headstrong, relatable Jennifer Walters. I don't think you're relatable, though. That's the thing. Like, from these things that I'm reading, some of these negative comments where, especially around the way she treats Bruce and things like that, that doesn't seem relatable. I mean, if you think that's relatable, if as a female you think that's relatable, I think you have some issues, honestly. That's it. She-Hulk, it's out. If you want to go watch it, go watch it. If you don't want to watch it, then don't watch it. I really don't care either way. I'm going to watch it and check it out and give you the review. Let you know, is it woke as and is it any good? So that's the two things I'm looking at. Is it woke? Is it good? But let me know what you think in the comments below. Is She-Hulk something you're going to check out? Do you want to watch this show? And have you already seen it? If you have, let me know what you think down below. In the meantime, if you want to continue to Hulk smash the narrative, then smash that like, subscribe, and share button, and I will see you in the next video.